He started, I guess you guys did a quick angle between the two of you, and it was switched over from you and Owen to Hunter and Owen. Why was that?
Because they didn't want, they just wanted those two to work with each other. Owen didn't like that. Owen knew that. Owen and I talked beforehand, and he said, and Owen was always
Business.
the very smart one of the family, could separate one from the other. What was important to Owen was his family and all that stuff. So we went over that, but he knew there was only going to be one match with me, and then would go off with Hunter. He didn't like that because he wanted to work with the main event. But Vince wanted a way to get Hunter over. But there was no one saying, because I loved working with Owen, but Vince didn't think Owen was main event material. Owen fell into the same thing that Davey fell into. Could have good matches, boom, would get that one shot, but could never get that long program with the main event guy. And Owen's a great worker, but he didn't eat, sleep, and drink wrestling either. He was the guy, and that's one thing he and Brett did have in common. He was the kind of guy that came and said, "What have you got for me?"
Right.
Instead of, here's what I'd like to do, here's some ideas and stuff like that. So what hurt Owen was that he wasn't forceful enough in pushing for the things that he wanted. But the Hunter and Owen angle was just, that's where they wanted things to go. There was never any friction whatsoever between me and Owen at all.
Where were you, I guess, when you heard about the tragedy of Owen Hart?
I was in Hawaii taping Pacific Blue.
Right.
And I remember coming off the set one day, and one of the crew people saying, "Did you hear about Owen Hart?" I said, "No." He said, "Apparently he died." I said, "What?" And because of the time difference, I'm trying to figure out what day it is, shit like that. Remember, okay, once I pay-per-view, so my wife and I just went up and just watched CNN until it came on. Sure enough, we saw it, and we just, made a couple calls to my parents, and then they said, yeah, paged Hunter, but he didn't call me back. And the next night, we just sat there and watched Raw and just, cried like everybody else in the country. Right. It was just, one of those things. I miss the fact that I wasn't there to be able to do something. I think that's probably why, because I never knew there was even anything said about there was supposedly something between me and Owen. But my guess is probably, maybe that's why, it's because everybody was on there to do the tribute except Shawn. And Shawn was off in Hawaii doing, a television show.